The following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers. This is the TFangy coming to you with what will hopefully be a successful review. And today we're going to be taking a look at another Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class figure, just like my previous review of Studio Series TF1 Orion Pax. This is a Deluxe Class figure that I initially was going to pass on, but unlike the Studio Series TF1 Orion Pax figure, most Transformers fans and collectors who got a hold of this figure early said that even though it's a figure of a character that over the years many fans and collectors have complained has gotten too many action figures, this is one that was worth buying, and so I caved in and got this figure off of Amazon, and I decided why not give it a chance. And after watching some more reviews of this figure, I do not regret getting this figure at all, and it is the Transformers Studio Series Devastation video game version of Bumblebee. So yeah, we have a new deluxe figure of Bumblebee from the Studio Series line based on his appearance in the Transformers Devastation video game. And a lot of fans and collectors have said that when compared to other Bumblebee deluxe figures that have come out recently, such as Retro Bumblebee, which was a repaint of the War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Netflix Bumblebee figure that was released exclusively at Walmart, or the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee figure, which last year in 2025 it was retooled into the character of Bumper and released in the Transformers Age of the Primes Versus 4 or Pack. And this year that the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee figure is going to be repainted into Cliff Jumper, and I believe he's going to be retooled into a head sculpt. So we're now living at a time where most action figures of Bumblebee, because of the live-action Transformers movies, Hasbro for a while in the late 2000s and throughout the 2010s tried to make Bumblebee the poster character of the Transformers franchise, but within the most recent decade, the current decade at the time of this video's recording of the 2020s, because the live-action movies that have been released at the box office haven't done as well compared to the Transformers cartoons, the video games, or the comic books, or even the lines of Transformers action figures targeted at older adult age collectors. Hasbro slowly started to rethink the idea of having Bumblebee be the poster character of the Transformers franchise instead of Optimus Prime. Yeah, it's we're living at a time where it's rare when Hasbro and Takara Tomy actually design a deluxe class figure Bumblebee that actually looks fairly decently, and the general consensus I've seen from fans and collectors so far is that Devastation Bumblebee is one of the deluxe Bumblebee figures that hit all the positive marks in the right area. So here's the box art of Bumblebee in his robot mode and his alt mode of a yellow sports car. And for those wondering, Bumblebee's appearance in the Transformers Devastation video game, particularly the design of his alt mode, for those wondering if it was a brand new take of Bumblebee when the Transformers Devastation video game came out a few years ago, surprisingly, you might be surprised to hear that the answer is no. Bumblebee's appearance in the Transformers Devastation video game is not an entirely brand new design of Bumblebee, because the Bumblebee action figure that was used as the basis more for Bumblebee's alt mode than his robot mode, which was based off of his appearance in the G1 cartoon. Devastation Bumblebee, his alternate mode is based off of the 2006 Transformers Classics Deluxe Class Bumblebee action figure that, wow, I can't believe the Classics line was 20 years ago and celebrates its 20th anniversary this year. But yeah, the Devastation version of Bumblebee is based, his alt mode is based on his appearance and is based on his the design of his is the word I was looking for, of his 2006 Transformers Classics Deluxe Class action figures. So Devastation Bumblebee is basically a mashup of G1 Bumblebee and Classics 2006 Bumblebee. So even though it's not entirely the design isn't entirely brand new, the mold created for this action figure itself is brand new. So that's a pretty nice thing to see, that this is not a case like we got with Kingdom Sideswipe or Earthrise Wheeljack, where Hasbro decided just to put some cel-shaded windows on an existing deluxe Bumblebee figure and said, "Here's Devastation Bumblebee." No, Hasbro and Takara went the extra mile and designed an entirely brand new mold for Bumblebee based on his appearance in the Devastation video game. Going here to the back of the box, you've got product photos of him in both his robot mode and his alt mode. He transforms back and forth between both modes in 24 steps. There's a screenshot of his robot mode from the Devastation video game, and his one-sentence bio, which repeats in 5 languages, reads, "Bumblebee is ready to take down the Decepticons." So yeah, pretty generic bio, but considering the fact that we're lucky to get even one sentence of a biography for the Transformers characters on their boxes these days, when back in Generation 1 in the 1980s we got a whole paragraph. It's nice that there's still at least one sentence on the Studio Series Transformers characters boxes. So yeah, there is Studio Series Devastation video game Bumblebee inside his box, so let's unbox him and take a close look at what he looks like in his robot mode. Alright, and so here is Studio Series Devastation Bumblebee out of his box and fully transformed into his robot mode. He comes with 3 accessory pieces. He's got a twin barrel. He's got twin laser guns here in his hands, and he's got a larger 3rd laser gun, which on the instruction sheet it shows you're supposed to just attach it here on his back and have him use it as a backup weapon instead of the actual dual pistols. I tried to put the larger laser gun into Bumblebee's hand, but it doesn't really stay in place that well due to the shape of the lower arm and how close his hand sits to his wrist. There's really only room for the 2 smaller laser guns here instead of the big one on the back, but even in the product photos on his box it shows him having that sitting on his back instead of actually wielding it. I don't know if that's accurate to the video game since I never played the Transformers Devastation video game, but it is nice to see that there. And like I said, the design of Bumblebee, I said it was more his alt mode than his robot mode, but now that I have him out of the box, there are a lot of design similarities between him and his 2006 Transformers Classics action figure, with the front bumper forming the base of his feet, but then you got these panels here from the hood of the alt mode forming his shin guards, and then the shape of the racing spoiler sculpted here on the back. And everything, yeah, it's a nice mixture of both G1 Bumblebee and his Classics 2006 Deluxe Class action figure. But yeah, really impressed with how Bumblebee is. I really love the nice bright shade of yellow plastic that was used on him, and I love how the parts on him that are yellow and the parts that are black are all sculpted in plastic, none of it's paint. Someone pointed out the retro Bumblebee figure that was released at Walmart 2 years ago in 2024. The black on Bumblebee's lower arms was black paint on yellow plastic, but with the Devastation Bumblebee that's not the case. All the black parts and yellow parts of him are done in those colored plastics. The parts of him that are paint are the blue and white reflective paint of his windows, the red paint used on his Autobot logo, and the tail lights for his alt mode, which sit on the bottom of his backpack, and then the silvery gray used for the hubcaps on his wheels. That's all paint. But yeah, the yellow and black parts of him, none of it's paint, it's all plastic, and I really enjoy when Hasbro and Takara actually make colored plastic parts out of the actual colored plastic and not paint, like they did with Bumblebee's laser guns. It's not just the large one, it's all 3 of them. All 3 of Bumblebee's laser guns are actually cast in black plastic and then just painted over in gray paint. And so there is a risk that over time the gray paint might chip off and Bumblebee's laser guns might end up being black instead of silver. Historically, going back to Transformers Generation 1, whenever Bumblebee's been pictured using depicted is the word I was looking for, using a laser gun, it's usually been silvery gray instead of black. But yeah, just really thrilled with how he came out. Just like most Bumblebee Deluxe Class action figures we've gotten in recent years, Bumblebee is on the small side, and for a size comparison with another Deluxe Class Transformers figure that's was considered a somewhat small-sized when it came out. Here's Devastation Bumblebee next to the Transformers Studio Series, Devastation Optimus Prime, and as you can see, even though they were both sold and marketed, they've both been sold and marketed as being Deluxe Class Transformers. Optimus Prime, he's not just a head taller than Bumblebee, depending on how far apart you have their legs sprawled out. The top of Bumblebee's head comes up to the bottom of Optimus Prime's chest, specifically the bottom of his the windshield used for his chest abs. So, despite Bumblebee being a whole inch shorter than Optimus Prime, and because of the price hike of Transformers figures in the current year of 2026, Bumblebee's retailed for, I believe, about $3 more than what Devastation Optimus Prime sold for when he first came out. The Studio Series Devastation Deluxe Class Optimus Prime action figure, it's a fairly meaty, average-sized Deluxe Class Transformers figure. A lot of fans and collectors have said it's on the small side, which is why I said it a moment ago, is because of how slim and slender Studio Series Devastation Optimus Prime is. And when you turn him to the side, he's somewhat flat. So Bumblebee at least has his backpack sticking off the back of him, giving him some bulk. But yeah, of the Studio Series Autobots released in the Studio Series line that have been based off the Transformers Devastation video game, my brain's fried right now from a lot of stuff that's been going on personally in my life right now. But as far as I'm aware of, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee are the only Autobots based on the Transformers Devastation video game design that have been entirely brand new molds. The other Autobots we've gotten based on the Devastation video game so far have included Wheeljack and Sideswipe, and they've just been straight up repaints of the War for Cybertron trilogy deluxe figures of them that came out at the start of the decade of the 2020s. So, yeah, pretty impressive seeing Optimus Prime and Bumblebee standing next to each other. I do have one version of the classics Bumblebee mold, one of the repaints. It's in my Transformers collection, but it's inside a storage bin that's being blocked by a bunch of stuff, so I apologize for not bringing it out for a size comparison with Devastation Bumblebee here, but I am just really enjoying how he looks. For articulation, the head's attached to the body on a ball joint, so Bumblebee can look up and down quite a bit, although the ball joint itself is attached on a double hinge joint, so if you move Bumblebee's head too far in the wrong direction, it will cause it to pop up. And since it's a ball joint, he can spin 360 degrees left and right. But my main concern having him out of the box right here, if you look right there, the ball joint that keeps Bumblebee's head attached to his torso, it's very pencil thin, and looking at the ball joint from the back, removing the laser gun so you can get a good view. Yeah, even though the ball joint itself is made out of yellow plastic, my advice from my own experiences with Transformers action figures, where the head sculpt is fairly large compared to the size of the ball joint on the neck, don't try to move it around a lot too much, because there's a good strong chance of it breaking as my tongue fails to get the words out that I wanted to say. So yeah, it could break very easily, so just try to avoid using Bumblebee's head articulation if you can, due to that very thin ball joint. There's ball joints at the shoulder, so the arms can rotate 360 degrees forward and backwards. There is a swivel joint at the bicep, but it's very tight right out of the box. Hinge jointed elbows, so the lower arms can go up and down. And at the elbow joint, no wrist articulation due to how Bumblebee's hands transform, folding in and out of the lower arms. There is a waist swivel, but it's really stiff out of the box for the first time. Universal jointed hips, so the legs can go forward on Bumblebee this far. And I apologize if I had him too low for you to see, but yeah, as you can listen to that, the waist joint is hitting some piece of plastic in there, preventing it from spinning freely 360 degrees. So legs can go forward this far, they can go back this far, and I love how the backpack sits high enough that it doesn't interfere with the leg articulation, so that's pretty nice there. Getting the arms out of the way, Bumblebee can do a full split, maybe slightly more than a full 180 split. That is nice. Swivel joint in the thigh, hinged knees, so Bumblebee can, it's slightly above 90 degrees, but not quite. But good range of motion on the knees. The feet can go upward and downward slightly with the toes. And of course you have ankle rockers, so you can get Bumblebee into a sprawl-legged pose if you desire. So yeah, quite a good range of articulation with Studio Series Devastation Bumblebee. So with that out of the way, let's get him transformed, take a close look at his alternate mode, and we will wrap up the review. Alright, and so here is Studio Series Devastation Bumblebee transferred into his alt mode and all of his laser guns attached. So, nice little vehicle. Again, I haven't played the Transformers Devastation video game before, so I don't know just how accurate he is to his appearance. But keeping in theme with the characters from the Devastation video game having sunlight reflecting off of the windshields, Bumblebee, the blue paint has a white striping on the front to show that there's sunlight reflecting off, so it's very shiny, reflective glass used for his windows. And I love how for the Devastation figures, Hasbro and Takara Tomy went with solid plastic and then having paint applied to the windows to show that they're supposed to be made of glass instead of using actual clear plastic. One thing I did differently than the instructions say is it says that the two smaller laser guns you're supposed to have facing right side up instead of upside down. And I just felt that the peg being on the bottom facing the bottom, that it didn't look that good. But they're also supposed to be pointing forward as well. But if you want to, you can have the laser guns attached to the sides of Bumblebee using two rectangular shaped pegs. You can have them facing backwards, and instead of laser guns you can have them act as a set of double as a pair of exhaust pipes for Bumblebee if you want. So that's another thing you can do. The four wheels do roll fairly well. As you can heard I had them rolling alongside my fingers, but they are very thin, so just be mindful of rolling them around a lot. And they are not pegged onto Bumblebee. They are attached to him using metal pins. They're on the inside of the wheels, though. You can see the metal pin reflecting there off the light from my bedroom lamp. But yeah, overall, pretty fun looking vehicle mode. And again, with the racing spoiler and the overall shape of the vehicle mode, especially the design here with the front double grille section here, this version of Bumblebee from the Devastation video game, it was based heavily off of his 2006 Transformers Classics action figure. One neat thing that they did, though, is that the racing spoiler actually has a sculpted window on the back of it. Since they decided rather than have the racing spoiler be hollowed out and have the actual back window there, they just decided we'll have the back window there on the inside. But yeah, that's not actually supposed to be where the back window is there. So it would have been nice if they would have at least hollowed out the racing spoiler. But I can kind of see why they went with that design choice. And again, for a size comparison, here is Studio Series Devastation Bumblebee next to the Studio Series Devastation Deluxe Class Optimus Prime. And even more so in alternate mode, Optimus Prime is the larger sized Deluxe Class Transformers figure. In recent years, when it's come to Deluxe Class size Transformers action figures, the size range of Deluxe Class Transformers has varied between 4 inches tall to up to 6 inches tall. Most Deluxe Class Transformers are between 4.5 to 5.5 inches tall, but with some of the smaller Deluxe Class Transformers, especially those that are based off of the Generation 1 mini-bots being smaller in size, it's left some Transformers fans and collectors to wonder why Hasbro just doesn't bring back the old size classes of Transformers action figures that were smaller than Deluxes, such as Basic or Scout class for the mini-bots. Because when you have a Transformers action figure that's 5 inches tall and one that's only 3.5 inches tall, selling for the same retail price tag, you're going to wonder if the smaller sized action figure is worth the amount of money you're paying when the figure next to it is a whole inch taller and going for the same price. So that's been one of the put-offs for Devastation Bumblebee, is his small size along with the price hike. But overall, I actually enjoy Bumblebee slightly more than I do the Devastation Optimus Prime action figure. So for the final proverbial question of the review, do I recommend getting the Transformers Studio Series Devastation Bumblebee and adding him to your Transformers collection? Absolutely. You cannot go wrong having this version of Bumblebee in your Transformers collection. One thing that a lot of Transformers fans and collectors didn't like about the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee is that the designers at Hasbro and Takara Tomy went with the penny racer style of vehicle mode that Bumblebee's G1 action figure had. And you can kind of see that here on the Devastation Bumblebee figure, but the wheels are much smaller, and proportionally he looks more like a realistic car. Granted, the headlights being the same size as the wheels makes him look a little cartoonish in that regard, but overall, all a fun Bumblebee action figure to have in your Transformers collection, and one that I think would look really great on your shelf, especially if you've been collecting the Transformers action figures from the Studio Series line based on the Transformers Devastation video game. Most of them have been sold as exclusively at Target stores here in the United States, but Bumblebee at least has been sold at retail, and yeah, I'm really thrilled with how he came out, and again, I do not regret adding him to my Transformers collection. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Thank you to all my friends and subscribers. This has been the TFN Geek. This has been my look at the Transformers Studio Series Devastation Deluxe Class Bumblebee action figure. Even if you think you might have too many Bumblebees in your Transformers collection, this is one of those Bumblebee figures that I feel is a must-have to your Transformers collection. So thank you guys all so much for watching, and until next time, you guys, please remember, collecting is a lifelong hobby. As long as you enjoy it for the rest of your life. And until next time, you guys, please remember to stay safe, stay healthy, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.